Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sex Talk with Sanvernetas. I'm just waiting for him to jump online so we can get started. I am not feeling my best today, but I didn't want to cancel this. I wanted to make sure that you guys got the full experience and was able to hop on and check us out, especially because I have an event coming up and I wanted to showcase the Sex Talk series and let you know that I'll be dancing burlesque next week here in Atlanta, and I'm really excited for that. So stay tuned for thank you. Sam Benitez is here. He's about to send me a request. My own. I am not at Rock City, but I'll be dancing burlesque at Rock City on Wednesday. So definitely check out my page and the link in my bio because I'm selling tickets to my first burlesque performance of the year in Atlanta, and I'll be doing it in Rock Steady. So I'm so excited. Um, I'm just waiting for Sam Renita to send a request. Here. Yes, I'm so excited. Hey,
Hi.
how are you
I'm
today?
good. How are you? I miss you.
I
Oh my
miss
God.
you
Y'all,
too.
Ayana, when I tell y'all, Ayana's my baby. That is my soul sister, my twin. We look just alike.
Period.
That's my girl. Okay, what they say? Let's get into the comments. What they saying? I haven't done a live in it's been like a year and a half. Like it's
Wow. Yeah, you got a lot of fans, okay? I keep on seeing Sam. They are
oh,
happy to see you
y'all
live.
know I love the girl.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm like an old person when it comes to these comments because I'm trying to like scroll through. Okay, I see Eric. Hi, Eric. I see Noah. Girl, I'm an old lady when it comes to comments.
It is all good. If anybody has any questions as we continue to talk, I
Yes.
want you guys to put it in the box at the bottom. So it's going to be a little text circle bubble and it would have a question mark. If you click that, you'll be able to write questions. So we'll be able to answer them in the end. And then as we speak, if you happen to comment anything that sounds like it's right on par with what we're saying, we could jump on one of them
Mm-hmm.
or comment that we see popping up on the screen as well. But I want to
Let's
jump
see.
right into it and
Let's get
start
into it.
it. So welcome to Sex Talk. I started this series in order to promote my last event entitled
Mm-hmm.
Sacred Screening in Sex Talk, which was an online movie viewing that I had of my film. It went really well. I was really excited. But as I continued to host the Sex Talks, I realized that people still want to talk. People still want to talk.
Right.
People still want to connect. People still want to have these conversations. People still want to learn. So I was like, you know what? Let's continue these conversations. Let's make sure that we get different demographics, different ethnicities, different
Mm-hmm.
sexualities in the chat. Thank you. So someone bought a badge. Period. Thank you. Yes, we
Yes.
love it. We love it. We love it. We love the support. So yes, I decided to continue this, and who better to bring it back after the event than with you? So I'm excited
Oh
that
my
you are
God.
here. Really excited that you
It's
chose to do this, especially because I know that like we talk about this type of stuff all the time. You know, when we're having conversations,
yes.
like we talk
Mm-hmm.
about the interaction with people. We talk about the intimacy we want to have with different partners. We talk about certain sex with some people, but it's really important to have these conversations like on a bigger platform.
It is.
Really tune in and
Definitely.
kind of see what we're
Okay. I
talking
like
about.
that better.
So, without further ado, I'm going to ask the first question. And the first question is, what is
Yeah.
your relationship to sex?
Ah, yeah, okay. Me and sex, we don't have a relationship at this
Mhm.
point. It's been almost 9 months since I've had sex, so I've been celibate for 9 months.
Mhm.
Before that, sex was on a scale of 1 to 10, sex was like a 6.
Hmm.
So it's like I kind of venture off to it. And yeah, like I would like to have good, healthy, fulfilling, inspiring, healing sex,
Yeah.
but when I look for it, it never really comes to me. So I be the magnet and what's for
Mm-hmm.
me will find me. So I just sat in that.
Mm-hmm. What, when did you started, when did you start having sex?
I lost my virginity at 18.
Hmm.
I was a freshman in college, and my friends that I met at college, they was telling me, they were, of course, non-virgins because they've been, having sex, and me, I was the newcomer, and they was like, just give it up to so and so. So I knew the guy. Yeah, we known each other, and I was like, hey, if I give him my V card, he's not gonna hurt me. It's just sex. We have a, we're cool, we're friends, whatever. It was horrible. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't what I expected it to
Mm.
be, and I'm just like, okay, so that's over with. Yeah, I was 18. I was a fresh virgin.
Mm. Do you feel like you waiting until you were 18 gave you the emotional capacity to do it at that time, and whatever happens, you were able to handle it, or do you think you were still a little bit too young?
Well, I kind of think it. I think I had a little bit of the emotional capacity at first, but also I grew up in a small town, and I feel like I was like the only gay, but it's like I wasn't open with my sexuality until I got to college. So once I got to college, I could just be a free bird and do as I wanted to do. And that was like freedom, and
Mm.
I embraced that. And it was a little, I was a little nervous at first because I'm like, how am I supposed to clean myself out? Like my friends are walking me through this whole sex talk that my parents had no idea of. I didn't even know what it was. I didn't know what my position was. I didn't know what I liked. So they just like, okay. For example, one of the guys, we're not friends anymore, thank God. But he was like, girl, you a bottom. So, we bottoms, you bottom. So, yeah, that's what you get. And apparently, that wasn't the case.
Mm. So do you think that because you didn't have that much experience, you had people just imposing whatever they
Yes.
thought you
Hmm.
should look like, or whatever they assumed you would like?
Yes. And of course, I didn't know any better. I mean, we're young, naive. We just don't know. We don't have those conversations. And I just went along with it and I experimented with it. And it was just, if I could go back into my younger self and be like, look, take your time
Mm.
because it's all about knowing what sex is, knowing what pleases you, pleasures you, knowing what makes you comfortable and vulnerable and safe at the same time. I
Mm.
didn't know that then. I did not feel that.
Mm. What would you say makes you comfortable and vulnerable and safe at the same time?
With another person or just in general?
In general.
In
Or
general,
if you did get it from another person after this experience, what things kind of put themselves
it
for that to happen?
yeah, I was like, it was crazy because around the same time I did feel safe. At one point, me and this one guy, we didn't really have sex, but he listened. He never pressured me. He wasn't aggressive.
Mm.
He was just so grounded. And he listened to me, my needs and my wants, and he
Mm.
catered to that. He was so selfless.
Mm.
And once I realized that at 18, it's like I've been looking for it, like, because that was 18. I'm 29. So I've been looking for that same feeling.
Wow.
And it's never happened.
Mm. How was your relationship with this person? Was it someone you knew a long time? Was it someone you had like a
Yeah, we've known each other for at least about 2.5 years.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was about 2.5 years, and it's like because when I was young, I was once as they say once I got into who I was very bitchy, I was catty, I was very fiery, and he knew it, and it did not bother him. Like it's just I didn't have to do that with him. to get
Mm-hmm.
attention or to get some type of feeling. It was just so natural. And he was a Scorpio, of course, because I'm a Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
And he was honestly the best. Like, and the crazy thing is, we never had sex. Never had sex. The
Mm-hmm.
only, I mean, are we keeping it G rated or are we keeping it like
We
XXX? Because,
keeping it however you want to keep it.
okay,
Whatever
we all
you
grown.
say,
Y'all, we all
TMI, let
grown.
it all out, information. We here. We're here.
So the only thing this man done, he ate me out. He gave me head. Of course, I gave him head, of course, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't ask for anything else. He never pressured me to do anything because at that time I was still a virgin. That was right before I had the first time of sex. But the funny thing about it was he knew about me on college and he was like, "Oh, I bet you're gonna give it up to so and so, so and so." And in fact I did. And I regret it. And to this day I wish my first time could have been with him.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's I don't like to compare or contrast people,
Right.
but he was honestly the best man I've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
Lord rest his soul because he's no longer with us. But
Wow.
yeah, but he's that man. When I tell you, I just like it was to the point where he didn't have to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just his presence alone, just him there would heighten me. I would be excited. I would be shy, but not only shy where I'm taken aback,
Mm-hmm.
shy of I'm in my space and I'm comfortable with it, just being myself. And he honored that. When I tell you this man honored the ground I walked on, like I could honestly sit on my throne and this man come to me and give me my love offerings and
Mm-hmm.
honor my mind, body, and spirit. He
Mm-hmm.
never disrespected me, not one
Wow.
time.
That's
Like
amazing.
honestly, through all my fuck shit in college, because I'm not gonna lie, I was a fuck boy. I was, and he'll cut me off, and I go back to him, and he'll pick me back up, and but at the same time, after our like, I guess you could say our intimate connection, we had a
Yeah.
friendship.
Mm-hmm.
He still checked up on me. He still gave me advice. He was a little older than me. I'm gonna put my business out there. I'll be honest and
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable with y'all. He was an older man, which I expected, but he was really compassionate, and that's what I loved about
Mm. Amazing. Yeah, Hoops was like them grounded, selfless men.
him.
Let's go and talk about that nonverbal chemistry is everything. It really is. I think that what you're touching on is that intimacy. And a lot of people use intimacy synonymously with sex, and it's not the same thing. And I think that
Exactly.
when you start to understand that
Hmm.
the intimacy that you share with someone is the harboring of sensuality, which can connect to sex, but it's not sex in and of itself. Period. It come through.
I'm listening. Like I'm so clueless, but I did not know we could do filters. Like,
Right. I was like, what can I do to put some brownness in my face? I'm not feeling the best today, but I was like, I can't not
listen.
do this. We're gonna
Oh
do
my
this anyway.
God. I'm over here barefaced like a motherfucker right now. Okay, y'all. I
No
don't like
worries.
that. I think I'm gonna just give y'all natural girl today
Period.
because
Natural girl is beautiful. Period. But yes, back to what I was saying. I think that a lot of people, that's what they're missing, that intimacy when it comes to
hmm
sex. And that intimacy is that sensuality. That
yes.
on during my event, which I want to take some clips and show some clips and promote some of the clips for the next event, because the Sacred Screening and Sex Talk online event, I definitely want to continue it. One of the
Yes.
things that we spoke about was how much of sensuality needs to be embedded in sex in order for you to have a great experience. And most of the times when you leave the sexual experience and you leave it feeling empty and you leave it feeling like someone took something from you, it's because they
hmm
did not practice sensuality. And I said, okay, it is safe to say that sensuality is the soul of sex. So if you are navigating a sexual experience you have to do it with soul. You have to do it with passion. You have to do it with something that is not based in the end result. It's based in the experience. And I think that is what you and that guy had. You and that guy had an amazing experience. And even though you guys didn't have sex, it was the best experience you ever had in your life. And I feel like people,
And
they downplay the fact that intercourse is supposed to be the best experience just because for one part of our species, a lot of the feeling goes into that intercourse, but it's not how every person having sex is having the best feelings. And when you are mindful of that, you
exactly.
are able to navigate intimacy and navigate sensuality in order to have the best sexual experience that you can possibly have. If you don't,
Girl,
you're missing
yes.
out.
Not the girl. Let me tell you, like I always tell you, y'all. I always tell Yana, she's always opening up these portals, these mental things, and like let's piggyback on sensuality since that's the main topic. I remember, I'll never forget. This was me and him. We linked up one weekend. It was Jackson State Homecoming 2011. I went to Mississippi State, but we went to Jackson State Homecoming because it was lit. And he picked me up. My friends dropped me off. He picked me up, so we drove back to his place. He had this nice sports car, and the inside, the interior, I would never forget, was like LED lights, like blue LED lights, like lines all
Wow.
throughout his car. And it was this was around October, like September, October. This was before it got really cold. It was like still summer vibes. I remember he cracked the window down and just looking at those lights, and he was driving, and he had his right hand on my thigh, and just one thing I love about and know about sensuality is I believe that sensuality is being in the present moment and tuning into all of your senses, as many senses as you can get. And in that moment, I can remember I just felt something that I've never felt. And I knew in that present moment that this moment was going to last a lifetime. This moment, I was never going to forget that one moment. And I remember I looked at him and he was like, "What is it?" And I could not say anything. I could not utter a single thing because that one moment, it was sensual. The weather was right. The wind was hitting right. The music was just soft. He was a great driver. Not only that, he was touching my thigh, and I'm just like, yo, you already know what happened after that. I'll never forget. I had on shorts, and he was like, "Yo, take that shit off." He's like, "Yo, take that shit off, nigga." I took the shorts off. I kicked my legs up to the ceiling, like Rashida, like K. Michelle said, my leg was up to the moon, y'all.
Dead.
That man went to work while driving, and when I tell you, I have felt nothing like that.
Wow.
We got to his y'all. I was on this man like white on rice, and it was vice versa. Like this man was just the way that he looked at me, like his just. And not only that, it's like if I could put it in a phrase and like an analogy, it's like he's a lion and I was the gazelle. I was his prey. He hunted me. He watched me. He studied me. He studied every single move, every trick that I threw that he thought I was going to throw him. He studied it. But when he devoured me, it was painless. He took his time. He made it feel sensual, y'all. And I'm so upset that this man had to pass away because I'm like, I can't get that shit back, dog. I cannot. I have yet to feel that same very feeling. I haven't. 11 years? I haven't.
Yes. Fatty Portfolio said sensuality is an unspoken power and expression of such divine energy. It really is.
Like when I promise you, now that they say that, I believe that if you're in alignment, if you're in true alignment with a person, I feel that sensuality is going to happen naturally for you.
Yes.
It's not going to be forced. It's not, you don't have to say anything. It's just like y'all just know.
Yes. I agree. I think some of the best experiences that I ever had were non penis penetrative experience as well. And
Mm-hmm.
it just goes to show that just someone using their mouth, just someone using their hands, just someone using their fingers is enough to arouse the body because of that energy, because of that flow, right? Like Betty Portfolio was saying, because of that
Yes.
exchange that they're giving me. And you know they want to take their time. And I said this in one of the first sex talks. I said, passion is patient.
Yes.
And that has stuck since I said it because I'm like, there is a reason why we feel so overwhelmed with our senses when someone is aligned in that way. And it's because they are not pushing anything that they think they want onto you. They're there for the experience of what you want. And that is what they want. You know, they are the ultimate
Exactly.
giver, only to be the ultimate receivers of what that looks like when they have that experience with you. Anyone who's a giver
Yes.
and the other person that they're giving to is not selfish, is not taking advantage of them, is not ill-willed, they are also the ultimate receivers. And I feel like there's not enough emphasis and focus on that. Like I always say, like they're gonna get what they want to get anyway. So why force it?
Obviously.
Why force it
Why?
what you're gonna get if you're gonna receive everything that you want? Right. Like mirror back your desires. Everything that you are hoping to receive, you're going to receive as long as you stay patient and passionate.
Yes. And I love that you stated patience. Like as soon as you stated patience, as they say, let's take a trip down memory lane. That was 18. Let's go to 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I was 25. I was we weren't dating because he wasn't taking me out on dates, but we were friends and we had we were connected. We conversed all the time. And I never forget, this was my modeling days and this was not planned. Like I had modeling runway practice. After that I had a friend's birthday party and then he was like, can you stop by the apartment? I want to see you. And I was like, I didn't want to do it, but something told me to go. So I went there. And keep in mind, me and him, he's a Capricorn. Y'all know how Capricorn men are. But he's a Capricorn Aquarius cuss.
Mm-hmm.
So he was very not chaotic, but he knew everything. You could not tell him otherwise. So me and him, we would clash here and there, but we still was cool. I went over there and we actually got before we got into it like 2 or 3 days before. Y'all. That's what made me go over there. Me and him, we got into it because he said he always had a slick mouth. He said something smart one night. We was on the phone. I just blew it. I went off on him. I cussed him out. Like I really showed him my other side, my fire side.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, like when I say he reflected that shit back to me, and what he said had me in a chokehold. It's hard to shut me up. Ask anybody. Ask Eric that might be on this live. Eric know how I get down because I won't stop until the entire world is burnt to black dust. He had me in a chokehold. This man, he just not literally but figuratively, he shut me up. He pretty much told me, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna slam you against the fucking wall. I'm gonna do what the fuck I'm gonna do to you, and you ain't gonna do shit because you're gonna let me. I was like, so I calmed down. He calmed down. He was like, you coming over here? I was like, yep. I said, I'll be there after I get done with my activities. So I went over there that night. I'm thinking that me and him about to really be into it like we were on the phone. This man was a complete angel. He was patient. He was soft spoken. I seen a side of him that I've never seen. That man was completely vulnerable to me because I went there guarded. We went into the bedroom and, we watched TV and we talked and we talked and we talked and it just happened. When I tell y'all, I can still visualize how slow and patient this man took my clothes off. This man honored and worshiped my body from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. He was doing things that I never thought that he had the capacity to do. He was doing things that I didn't even expect. He was doing things that I wanted other niggas to do. But it came from him. And in that moment, y'all, we didn't have sex because we did not plan for one. So that was on me, of course, y'all. The girls know we did not plan, girl. If I'm the one receiving, you know how it goes. I did not plan. But he fingered me, y'all. Now, when it comes to penetration, I'm for it. If and only you know what you're doing. Throughout all the years of me having sex, no one knew how to penetrate me. They never took their time. They always rushed it. They have sharp fingernails. They don't have lube. I'm like, just stop, girl. Like, please fucking stop. This man was so sensual and patient. I just bloomed like a flower. I opened up like a tulip. When I tell you my prostate, if y'all know the man's G-spot is your prostate. It is in your anal region. Let's get that first and foremost. Throughout my years of sex, I've never had my prostate touched. Grace, none of that. This man slid one finger and I felt something. I was like, oh. He was like, no, you good, just relax. Yeah. He started doing that. When I tell you I ascended like I've never done before, I said, what the fuck? This man had me in a space that I have never been when it came to sex. I was like, so that's what that is. And he was patient. Y'all, I'm a nasty bitch. Call me Janet Jackson. This man, let me tell you, listen, let me tell you about good hygiene, y'all. Because I was like, I've been out all day, but I took a shower before I did anything. This man pulled his finger out of my ass, pretty much. That shit was clean. That man put that shit in my fucking mouth, and I sucked on his finger, and I ain't never done that before. And that shit tasted fucking amazing. Like Clive said, pussy's so good, it tastes like water. Your pussy's good when it tastes like water, And he did that. I wasn't the same. And I was like, he was like, yo, he's like, you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, I think I'm ready. I was like, but I said, I'm scared. He said, why? He said, I got condoms, I got lubes, like, what's like? I said, I did not clean myself out properly because we didn't really, I thought I was just going to say, hey, bye. I thought we was going to argue, fuss, fight, whatever. I didn't know. And he was like, okay. He said, I'm not upset. And he said, honestly, if you're not comfortable, that's fine. He said, I would never pressure you to do anything you're not willing to do. He said, honestly, I don't care if you painted all over the bed. He's like, it's just a moment for me. So this man held me for the rest of the night. And from 2017 up until 2021, because I stopped fucking with him. Had to. He was toxic, of course. We tried to recreate that moment, that same very moment, and we could never get it right. Every single time, we could never get it right because in that moment, he respected my mind, body, and spirit. But as time progressed, there was a disconnect with us. So we can never get back into alignment. So I'm trying to be like, can you just do what you did? Right. And then he's like, well, you didn't. It was never the same. We tried multiple times to recreate that moment. He told me one time, he said we can never recreate it. It just has to happen. But it ain't my fucking fault that it's not happening. That's on you because you come to the fucking bedroom not fucking prepared. And I'm just like, well, you don't respect my mind, body, and spirit. Like you, so I don't want to give my body away to you anymore. Right. So yeah, like that moment. It was amazing. And the reason I could not cut him off is because he made me feel something that someone has never done.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just over here like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought about him the other day, yesterday actually. I was like, why the fuck is this nigga on my fucking mind, dog? I mean, I got him blocked on every
Oh wow.
platform, and he doesn't even live in Atlanta, so he lives on the East Coast. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's the story of him. You know, the
Mm.
prostate, the hitting the G spot for the first time. That was amazing. Have yet to hit it again,
Experience
and I'm
that.
just like, yeah.
So I definitely think that it's very telling of the patients, the respecting of the
Mm-hmm.
mind, body, and soul, those experiences with other people, and those two people in particular, because you only talked about, these two men in the last 10 years or so. But how do you work on that type of sensuality with yourself, by yourself?
With myself, let's see. I would say we could do a non-sexual and we could do a sexual. I would say the non-sexual way is, paying attention to my senses. For example, if I'm feeling very sensual, like I want to feel something, I want to be in this present moment and just focus on my senses. I would burn incense.
Mm.
I would curate a playlist, and whatever I'm feeling is what my body, my spirit vibrates to. For example, if I'm in like a very soft mood, I can't play no ricochet shit. I can't play something that's too upbeat.
Yeah.
I have to play something that's very delicate because I view myself as delicacy.
Mm-hmm.
And I would burn the right incense, you know. I would drink maybe wine or
Mm-hmm.
something carbonated, just something my body loves to intake. And I would dance around my room,
Mm.
all around my room. I would move my body. And sometimes I even imagine like somebody in there is like with me or
Mm.
watching me and studying me.
Mm.
And I feel like with those, that's one of the main things I always do. Now, when it comes to like, the sexual part, well, I feel like that was like kind of in between.
Yeah.
Because it's like I
Well,
have an answer for the next question, but like the sexual part is like you stated. Because if y'all watch Ayana's film that I actually watched when she was in Miami Art Basel, it's a beautiful film by the way, and she's definitely going to tune y'all into that. She sits here and this beautiful woman talks about, which is you. She masturbates in front of a mirror, and I never done that.
mm.
Never done it. And I remember one time when I first started masturbating, I was eighth grade. I will never forget. This was like 2006, I believe. And me and my friends, we were talking about, masturbating. And they was like, yeah, I masturbate. And so I masturbated, of course, to straight porn. The feeling was like no other. I thought I was dying. I had to talk to my brother-in-law. I was like, hey, man, like, something just shot out. My mom actually walked in and she told my sister and she told her husband. And he was like,
No.
yeah, my mom caught me my first time, like busted a nut.
Oh my God.
And she didn't say anything, but it's like I kind of covered it up quick before she saw anything. But she told my sister, and then she didn't want to tell my dad because my dad was so religious.
Mm.
And so she ended up telling my brother-in-law because me and him was really close. So me and him, we talked about it. So I remember we was in school and my friends was like, yo, if you jack off and you watch yourself jacking off, you're gay. And I didn't say anything because one of my masturbation sessions, I'll never forget, I was in the bathroom and I was turned on from my body itself. I
Mm.
had nothing else. I needed nothing else. And just from that moment in that connection, yeah. So when you talk about in your film, when you get a long length mirror and you listen to your body, you caress your body, you dance, you walk with your body, that is a no to self love. That is a no to ultimate intimacy,
Mm.
ultimate sensuality. And that's one of my goals. Because I mean, y'all, I do got toys. I got a prostate vibrator. I got this big ass dildo called, I call him Big Blue. Yeah, I got his. I bought that in 2017. Haven't used it yet.
Oh my God.
And I got butt plugs. Haven't used them yet
Yeah.
because I feel that I don't have a great connection with sex.
Mm.
I have a loving connection with intimacy and sexuality,
Mm.
but sex I don't have that connection with yet. But I feel in order for me to achieve that, like you stated in your film, I need to have that connection with my body first.
Yes. Wow. Yeah, it's interesting because I forget that I had toys for so long before I ever
Mm-hmm.
used them. And um, there's toys that I have that I still have never used. And they're just here, they're just here. Even though my last relationship was bad in so many ways, one thing that it was really great about was its progression in sex for me. I've never had one consistent sexual partner in my life until last year.
Mm-hmm.
So it created a space for me to explore with someone who I thought I had all free range of exploring with no boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
with no inhibitions. And it allowed me to find out so many things about myself with these toys, with these actions, with these different parts of the body, what things I'm into, what things I'm not into. And my film talks about doing all that with yourself. And I often feel like I've done a lot of that type of exploration alone, so much so that the desire that I have now is to do it with somebody else. Like, I have a very heavy craving to have transcendent sex and
Mm-hmm.
sex that is very fun. Like, I just want to have
Yes.
the most fun and transcend in every experience. I want to explore,
Yes.
I want to try things that I haven't done. I really want to hone
Mm-hmm.
in on the sensuality because I'm a sensual erotic, and I'm the type of person who, the same way that you were driving in that car and you knew that the wind was right and the music was right and the hand on your thigh was right and the lights were right and the speed of the car was everything around you, honing in on your senses was right. That is what brought your body to ecstasy without you ever having to do anything. That is the intimacy, that is the sensuality that we always speak of. And I really want to explore more of that. I want to get blindfolded and be fed different foods, so that I can feel aphrodisiacs. Like, I want to
Yes.
be tied to the bed and have like spikes go from the tip of my toes all the way to the tip of my head. Like, I want to feel senses of my body, things that I don't usually feel all the time because it's just something that is not explored. And like you, I'm so particular about who I share things with. And I don't just do anything with anyone. And I will spend a whole year not having any sex at all. And because I have
Girl.
experienced those things where, like the way Sacred Energy Exchange, my film, speaks
Mm-hmm.
about, I have done that. I have masturbated in the mirror. I have had those experiences with people so that I got to know that I'm a kinky person. I have done that. So I don't feel like I need to do more of that by myself. I'm just patiently allowing um, the integration that I have with someone else to show me more about what I like. Because I feel like I've done a lot
Yes.
of like self exploration already, and
Mm-hmm.
self love, like literal self love,
Girl.
and self feeling, and
That
dancing and
journey.
moving. And then when it comes to my profession as well, like burlesque is my outlet of sexual energy. It's my outlet of sensuality. It's my outlet of reclamation of the divine feminine power that I have. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I channel so much of that energy in so many things that I do. So I'm not pent up where it feels like I need to give it away to anybody just because I have it in me and I haven't had someone I can experience with. Um, and I'm just staying open. I actually currently have a lover that I just experienced something really cool with, and we went to one of those fantasy hotels recently. which
Mm-hmm.
in Miami, which are really, really cool. You know, you walk in and it
Wow.
has the lighting, that's that stark blue light. It has a
Yes.
jacuzzi inside the room. It has a speaker surround sound so you can get into the mood. Like it has everything ready for you in a sensual way. And that is what I want to continue seeking and continue finding out more about, because that's what's going to bring my body to ecstasy. You know, that's what's going to bring me to have a heightened sense of arousal and experience that I've never really had before. So that's what
Yeah,
I'm
I
in.
agree with you. Like self-love for one it's a you don't stop loving and learning yourself until the day you decide to ascend, of course. And I'm to the point now. I'm not. It's like I went from an alley cat in heat to like a lioness in heat, and it's to
Mm-hmm.
the point I can't. I I can of course play with myself.
Mm-hmm.
That's not doing it. That's not doing shit for me. Like it's to the point I can. I don't want to watch porn. I don't want to watch that misogynistic shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to watch that. It's scripted. It's not real. It's I want someone that I can elevate with. We can be platonic. We don't have to be like, oh, we're getting married. It's just we have an understanding of what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We have a mutual respect to one another, and we're pretty much transmuting energy with good intentions. And
Yes.
that's it. I've been looking for it. I'm tired of praying. I'm tired of manifesting. I'm tired of writing that shit down. But my spirit, what I learned today is, well, I wouldn't say I learned. It came back to me today because my spirit is always for like just geared up. And it was saying today, like, hey, it's time. Like I knew my spirit was craving another spirit
Mm-hmm.
and in a way that was very patient and kind and nurturing and healthy. And trying to go out and get that, I deleted all my dating apps. I mean, because I had them for like a week, and my friend was like, "Oh, don't delete them, don't delete them." I'm like, remember we talked about I had them for 2 weeks, and I thought I had a connection with this one guy. He said everything right. I was attracted to him. We was very intellectual. Like our connection with y'all, it was so aligned with this man. I'm like, this man is finishing my sentences. He's in my head. How the fuck is this possible? Who is this nigga? I'm like, God, who is this man? Like, Harpo, who is this man? He canceled on me. We had a date. I canceled 2 of my plans for this nigga.
Mm-hmm.
He told me to. So I did. I didn't hear from him that Saturday.
Wow.
And I don't know what happened. And then he unmatched me off the dating app Hinge.
Oh
And I
wow.
was like, you were so hype about this whole date. And then you canceled. And we had a great connection. Like, dog, it was very
Mm-hmm.
spiritual. And I'm like, okay. So after that, I deleted everything. I did turn bitter, of course not, because what's for me is for me, you know.
Yeah.
And I was kind of down about it, but now I'm at a point. It's just my energy and my hormones are like they're very raging to the point where I want exactly what I want, and I know
Mm-hmm.
that I deserve.
Yes.
But I know that I'm grounded enough not to go out there and get it because, of course, it's accessible. Girl, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's outside. I mean, honestly, it's probably my neighbor. Honestly, really, like I mean, it's attractive men walking everywhere, you know. But that's not what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I want, and I'm just like, it's frustrating. It takes meditation. It takes discipline because I know if I go out there and get it, it's not going to be exactly what I want, and it's not going to be fulfilling because a lot of people were out here not having healthy sex. We're not
Yeah.
having those conversations, nor do we have the education or the enlightenment to know what true intimacy is.
Yeah.
And which is okay because I mean, look at the way that society is built.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's nobody's fault. Some people are aware of it, that's okay. Some people are unaware of it, that's still okay. But I know what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of know what I'm looking for. I don't know what he looks like. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. But I'm like, time is ticking,
Right.
and it's hot, and it's hot out here, y'all. It is a hot ass summer, and I'm just like, I don't know. Like at this point, it's got to the point where I find every man attractive. Like every attractive man that I see, I'm like, I'm gonna hop on it. But I was like, I don't even know who the fuck he is. Like, how the hell no? I don't know what
Right.
type of baggage. I don't know what energy he got. I don't want that shit in. But I always ground myself. I'd be like, look, girl, calm down. Let's meditate. Let's channel that energy.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
go
all.
walking. Let's. And one of the ways that I channel that energy is poetry. Like that is my secret. And I ain't gonna put my business out here, but there's somebody in the line that I actually wrote poetry about. And he knows who he is. I'm not gonna say his name. He knows who he is. And I was hot and bothered one night, so I used him as inspiration and I wrote it out like probably 2 or 3 poems. I was good. I wasn't horny for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow.
Because in my poetry it's always sensual. It's intimate. And it's like a way where I look at myself in the mirror and I course myself on how I want to be treated. And I write it out. It's like, and it's also, I use it as a guide to men on how to treat my mind, body, and spirit. And I love it. And it gets me there. It transmutes into that written literature. And I'm not inspired to write no poetry right now because y'all pray for me. I don't know what's going on with the planets and the aspects, but she got your girl hot. You know.
Interesting. How would you say you integrate your sensuality into your professional work? Do you integrate your sensuality or energy of like sex the same way you transmute it in literature, in styling, in creative direction?
I do. Now that you say it, because even when I work with clients, like my ultimate goal is the way I see myself is beautiful, desired, uh, self love. But I don't say that based on the way I look. I say that from a stance of being bullied, being traumatized as a kid, not being courted, not being loved, um, being shunned for being dark complected, having more predominant features. But a lot of people will be like, well, you're still beautiful. I didn't know what beauty was until I was 18, until I met that man. I didn't love myself until I met that man. I never looked at myself naked until I met that man.
Wow.
So coming from all of that trauma, and if I have clients who have endured the same things, I get it to transmute in a way where we're going to embody that. We're going to embrace that. Whatever insecurities, we're here to kill it. We're here to eliminate it. So you can embrace your own beauty, your own sensuality, your own sex, whatever you're wearing. It doesn't have to be revealing. It doesn't have to be unrevealing. It's the state of the matter, the state of your mindset, your energy, the way that you align with yourself, the way that you accept yourself, exactly the way that it is. I know that society is built on so much shit, so many beauty standards. I get it. I understand. But let's fight against that. Let's focus on self. And when I incorporate that, it's life changing. It is. It makes me feel a way where I'm like, oh my God, like I feel God.
Yeah,
Honestly, I feel divine. And seeing people embody their sexy, their sensual, being present with who they are and accepting every fucking facet of self, that is the most beautiful fucking thing. That is God. And incorporating that, I'm just like, I'm like, and people do not believe that I've had insecurities. I still, we all do.
Right.
But I had to, it really took a man to love me just the way that I was and to respect me like no other, to know what self love was. to
Yeah.
know what being desired was, to know what sensuality, sexuality, attraction. And I owe that man everything,
Mm.
honestly, because I mean, like it's like he started the foundation of me,
Wow.
and it's a beautiful. And we never had sex.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beauty of it, y'all. That man, I ain't gonna lie, I had to go through some hell, with that one. He didn't brought the hell, but the outside, I had to go
Mm-hmm.
through some shit with him. I did, and I'll never forget my mom when I told her about it because she knew him, of course, and she was like, "So that's what you did?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Your ass reaping now." I said, "I fucking am," because I wish I could have treated him better.
Mm.
I was young. I was 18. I was exploring myself, and he understood that. He never judged me, never disrespected me, none of that. I would, if that man was still alive today, all I can do is call him. He's going to answer the phone.
Mm.
You good? What you need? You all right? That's it. Like he was, I guess you could say, my first honest and true love
Mm.
was, and there has been not a single guy that has like done the things like that. Not that I expect them to, of course not, but that moment, it's just, it's life, man. You just
Mm.
continue to grow and go and go and go and go. And even though I'm tired, I am, y'all. I do get tired.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, that's a song. She was like, I do get tired. I think that was Aretha Franklin. She said, I do get tired. But you just got to be patient with
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Definitely. 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 Let's see. So, the last question that we have before we end, and I guess if anyone else has any more questions, we can get a couple before we head out.
Ask me anything. I do not mind.
Right. I think that we already kind of covered a lot of this, but could you reiterate why you think it's important to navigate the world with a sensual consciousness?
Excuse me. I had to get that out. I'm sorry, y'all. Mm-hmm. Okay, I will say this. I had to think. I'm gonna say this. Whether you're spiritual, religious, atheist, whatever you believe in, that's cool. It's non-judgment. Everyone should be accepting of others. You need to be sensual with yourself. If you're not, you don't know who you are.
Mm.
You're not in balance with yourself. You don't know. I feel like if you're not sensual with yourself, if you're not paying attention to all of your senses, what you like, what you enjoy, what you love, what you dislike, you don't know who the fuck you are.
Mm.
And you cannot go in this world not knowing who you are
Mm.
because you're honestly putting masks for other people. You're
Yeah.
not giving them your authentic self because it's not about, and it's not even about other people. It's about you. You got to take care of yourself because at the end of the day, you're gonna go by yourself.
Mm.
You're gonna be alone by yourself many parts of the day. Sometimes you're not, but it's about those intimate moments with yourself that you get. It doesn't matter if you're married, single, divorced, you have kids, dogs, pets, whatever. You still have those moments by yourself. Embrace those moments
Mm.
because they don't come all the time. I mean, we get so caught up with the world and this tragic event and social media and the industry and Hollywood and energy and all this other stuff that goes on and what we can see 3D, you get caught up.
Mm.
You lose yourself. You lose yourself. You all like I've lost myself
Mm.
multiple times, and but that's okay because what I've learned as you continue through your life, continue through this journey of self, you're still pulling back the layers of
Yeah.
yourself. And as you pull back those layers, be vulnerable with yourself.
Mm.
If you don't know how to love yourself, get to know yourself and know
Mm.
how to love yourself. If you don't know how to love others, start with yourself.
Yeah.
And once you be intimate with yourself, intimacy could be physical, non-physical. It could be anything. Once you find the things that you enjoy and you set those boundaries of things that you don't allow from other people, of course you're going to be sensual with yourself. You're going to be sensual with people, things, and objects that you never thought you had the capacity to do. I don't know where that came from, but I think it came from divine. So
channel, baby. It was channeled.
Come on, channel members. Yeah. Y'all know I love the channel low key.
Perfect. Yeah. So many gems. So many gems. I think that piggybacking off of what you said, not only do you put yourself in a space where you're not authentically showing up to other people in real time out in the world when you're meeting others, when you're interacting with others, and you're speaking to others, but you go with so much of a blank slate that you allow people to impose onto you. And I think the most dangerous thing that you can do is to allow someone else to tell you who you are. And
that part,
you have to find out who you are for you. You have to navigate the world knowing you. You have to learn you when you don't know. And a lot of people, you know, they might be lost about how to learn themselves. Just do something. Do something that sounds fun. You know, do something you did when you were young. Do something you did when you
Come
were
on, inner child.
I think
inner child.
Feeling and feeding your inner child is one of the best ways to get to know who you are, because most of the time you were just only being authentically you when you were younger. And so that is one of the truest forms of who you've ever been. So if you are having trouble finding out who you are and seeking knowledge of self, do some fun shit. Go to the park with a fucking jump rope.
Girl,
you know,
listen.
chalk and do hopscotch. Read books. I mean,
start there. Yes. Eat your favorite foods as a kid. You know, like one thing I do is I watch too. If I want to like ground myself, or if I want to spend time with my inner self and just be a fucking kid, I watch the Wild Thornberrys because that's what I did as a kid. I will sit up there and I will cuss Eliza ass the fuck out. You know, I'm never cussing out Darwin because Darwin knows what the fuck going on. For first and foremost, Debbie, I relate to Debbie. He be like, Deborah, I love that. He be like, Marianne, like, listen, that's my shit, yo. Debbie is over here boy crazy like me, and then Darwin is just not Darwin, Donnie is. I'm like, I be so weak because y'all, he be cussing and shit. But that's my inner child. It really is. And it's like once we started talking about sensuality, I realized the very first time that I can remember a sensual moment. I was young. I was about 5, 6, 7. And I was planting flowers with my mom. We were planting tulips in the garden. And I remember the sun was beaming. It wasn't beaming, it was setting. And it was about pre-fall, like pre-summer fall, I remember that. And just the way that the air and the wind felt, I can remember. And the way that in that moment, the ground was hot, of course, because of the sun, but as you dug deep, the dirt was cool and moist. And I could just remember that feeling. And not only that, I can smell it. It triggered my senses. Like I'm telling y'all, whatever your 6 senses, you know, that are triggered, get into that.
Yes.
And start there. I mean, you got all the time in the world, but don't wait for it's too late.
Period. So we have 44 seconds left, and I don't want it to just cut off on So I want to say thank you so much for joining. I
Thank
am
you. It's an
so happy
honor.
that you joined, and we had an amazing
Yes,
conversation. I want to
we
encourage
did.
everyone who is in Atlanta, Georgia, to come see me perform next Wednesday, a week from today, at Rocksteady. I'll be presenting my burlesque for the first time back in Atlanta this year, and I really want to showcase the sensuality and the reclamation of divine feminine energy. Thank you all so much. I love you,
Thank you
Sanvernetas.
guys.
We
I
need to
love
connect
you.
and go out. But
Yes.
peace and love, everybody.
Have a great one, guys.